Filthy Casuals. What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3VO, where we are all on the same team. I'm one of your hosts today, Brendan.
And I'm also here, and my name's Jordan.
And if you're new here, we're just two big ol' nerds who absolutely love video games and what makes them great. So if you too are a lover of video games, then this is the show for you. It's the top of the show, and as always, it's time to check in. Jordan, how are you doing?
We are struggling to maintain a positive attitude.
Oh, no! Uh-oh.
Particularly for this. I'll just get out of the way now.
I think you have to leave the podcast.
I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys. Bye. I gotta go. It's just, I played the most recent Modern Warfare game. For those who don't know, they've kind of done like a full reboot of the Modern Warfare part of the Call of Duty series, starting with the first one that was originally Call of Duty 4, that became the Modern Warfare franchise, going into Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. They did a full reboot of the series, basically. I played the third one because they put it out for free on Game Pass, and I used to love the Call of Duty campaigns, like going back to the original World War II ones. I was a big fan. I still think the original Modern Warfare series is a great game series. They're solid storylines. I still also think that Call of Duty Black Ops, the original, is one of the best stories in video games, period, across the fucking board. I was so let down by this, by Modern Warfare 3. You can't just throw together a bunch of your multiplayer maps and call it a campaign. You can't just have me run through those in single player mode and call it a campaign. That's all it is. That's all it is. To pivot away from that, though.
Well, were aspects of it good?
I will say this, honest to God, full credit to the cast for that game, because it is also some of the best looking and best acted cutscenes I've seen for a game in a long time. The graphics are really, really good on the game. It looks incredible, and the actors they got for it do a great job. It's really, really well acted and really, really well done. And as far as the dialogue writing of it goes, it's honestly pretty good.
It's just not that beefy of a story.
It's just not that beefy of a story, and it's not that engaging of level design. So it's all just it's
donuts for dinner. Yeah.
Yes, it's just a letdown. It's just a real letdown.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. On the flip side of it, though, they also released the remastered versions of the Crash Bandicoot games, the original trilogy, on Game Pass as well. And those, I was a big fan of those as a kid growing up. It was really fun watching me go from the nostalgia of I get to play through Crash Bandicoot again to I forgot how much I wanted to throw my controller when I played Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
We ended up skipping the first game because I was like, I can't hang on this one, and just gonna go into the latter two. Beat those.
Nice.
Yeah, beat those in a couple hours. Nice. So I was just like, oh yeah, once you get back into the familiarity of how Crash Bandicoot works, you're like, got it.
Yeah.
We're good and into it.
It's funny that you bring up nostalgia because I've been going back a long time ago. Friend of the show, Connor, got this emulator program on my computer for me, so I can play a bunch of old games, Game Boy Advance, SNES, NES, 64, so I'm going back and kind of dabbling in that again.
Awesome.
Garrett and I are playing through a Pokemon Emerald randomizer right now, which is super fun.
I've seen the stuff of people who will play through
great.
With randomizers on for Pokemon in particular. It looks interesting.
It's so great. It's so fun. Because it's literally just any Pokemon. There's different settings. Obviously, you can adjust it, but we have it where any Pokemon can show up in any route, anywhere, and the gyms, which are normally this is the fire gym.
Yes,
they can be totally different, but they are themed, so it'll still be one type of Pokemon in the gym. It'll be all electric instead of all fire.
Right.
So
gotcha.
That's fun. And we have just a stacked team already. We've got legendary Pokemon in our team already.
Well, when you put the randomizer on and a Zapdos just comes out of the tall grass.
Exactly. And Garrett Seed, chronically, when we do these randomizers, Garrett Seed is always way more stacked than mine. So he's got an Entei and fucking just 3 legendary Pokemon on his team already. I've got a couple, so I'm not hurting, but it's man, every time.
every time he just somehow manages to get the better squad out.
Yeah. We're doing a Nuzlocke Lite basically right now, where we're trying to adhere to the level cap. Do you know what a Nuzlocke is? Maybe I should
Not a clue. Not a clue.
Oh well, let me take a moment to educate you real quick while we're talking about it. So
big shock. Jordan doesn't know something about Pokemon. Anyway,
I was not. Whoa, the judgment is all coming over here.
It was more feeling an energy from behind the camera that I was
Whoa!
didn't even look. I just felt it.
All right. Well, coming back. So a Nuzlocke is a self-imposed set of rules for your playthrough of Pokemon.
Oh, gotcha.
The
Okay.
basic gist of a Nuzlocke is after you get Pokeballs, the Nuzlocke begins. When you encounter a Pokemon on a route. Mm-hmm. That's the only Pokemon that you can catch on that route. That one Pokemon. So if you kill it, it's done. Yeah. If you catch it, great, it can go on your team. And also, anytime a Pokemon on your team faints, it's done. It's knocked out for the game.
I was gonna say I've heard that happening with people who do playthroughs with like the rule of like once it's out, it's out. I can't use it anymore. I consider it dead. Yeah. I just didn't know that there was a term for
the Nuzlocke. It comes from, I'm gonna mess it up, but there's a YouTuber who like did it the first time and it's named for one of the Pokemon in his run.
Gotcha.
Anyways, oh yeah, the Nuzleaf Pokemon, a Pokemon Nuzleaf. Okay. Anyways, so
I'm just here, guys.
Yeah. So, and you also can't like level up your Pokemon beyond the level of the next gym leader's top Pokemon.
Okay.
So it's not like you can just go grind forever and then be super buff and like go through it. There's like, it's just like checks and balances to make your playthrough a lot more strategic and a lot harder.
So you mean I can't play Pokemon the way that I used to play Pokemon?
Right. The way that I would still play Pokemon.
Just go out, grind it until I get a fucking Blastoise, and then just mob through.
Yeah. So we're playing a Nuzlocke light. Okay, we're only catching one Pokemon per route, but we get to go shopping.
I see.
And we're doing the level cap. But if a Pokemon gets knocked out, we're not, like, knocking it out forever.
Yeah.
Because we used to play a Soul Link Nuzlocke, which means, like, we're both playing through the same game, and the first Pokemon you catch on your route and the first Pokemon I catch on that same route are now linked. So if mine dies, yours also dies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Which is also fun.
Yeah.
And it makes it difficult to figure out, like, team composition. Because it's like, oh, well, my, Latios is your Magikarp, so we can't put that on a team. You know, it's like stuff like that.
I feel like that's also a good test for a marriage as well. Of like, well, how mad did you get when I killed one of our Pokemon? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a good barometer to be like, how big of a fight is this gonna be?
What it was is like, it was not a fight, but it was like this isn't fun. Let's do something different, Which is why we're doing something different.
Which is, I think, I love that, though. That's amazing communication, though, in a relationship, to be like, this is not enjoyable for us anymore.
Right.
Let's adjust.
Yeah.
Let's adjust.
Absolutely.
Easy. Simple. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
That's the thing. It's like, you're supposed to have fun when you play video games.
Yeah.
So if the rules you're imposing are not making it fun, you're kind of doing it wrong. In my opinion,
I feel like there are people who get locked into a thing, and I've been this way too. But like, especially with playing D&D and being a DM, especially, has really made me adjust and I'm being like, and just going like, well, if no one's having fun with the way that you're doing things, just fucking don't do it that way.
Yeah, don't
stop doing that. Why would you force people to continue on a path that isn't enjoyable?
Precisely. Yeah. So we're doing that, and I'm just like walking down memory lane with a bunch of other, video games. Like, I'm playing Gauntlet Legends.
Oh my god.
I know. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what we're up to.
Love it. Fantastic.
You playing anything else?
Slowly going back and forth on things. I did finish up my playthrough of the Tomb Raider trilogy from the last episode that we did when we talked about the first Tomb Raider remake. I also just kind of got into I had the plan for a little bit. I was like, and maybe we'll get back to it where I do want to talk about the other games at a certain point, but I also just loved that trilogy, so I just wanted to play through it again. And hopping in and out of playing the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I know that we talked about. I talked a little bit about last time. Mm-hmm. It's so much every time I play it, and it's a good game, but it's a lot of running. It's a lot of just like, you need to go run and talk to this person, and you got to go and find this thing, and then go doing this thing.
Just and like endless fetch quests.
It's a lot of fetch. It's my biggest complaint. It's a lot of fetch quests, and I can only do that for so many hours.
Fair.
Before I'm just like, it's a lot of fetch quests, and then just like fights, just like random fights, basically. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Like it's really fun for a while. And I do eventually get back to a place where I'm like, I do want to hop back into it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a chore. I just need to go in and out a couple hours at a time, and then eventually get back into it, basically.
Makes sense.
But yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I'll beat it eventually.
We all believe in you.
Yeah.
All right, with all of that out of the way, we are ready to dive into today's topic. Today's topic being our 5 biggest wishes in the world of video games. We just said, let's take like a step back and just look at video games as a whole and like figure out what our like top 5 biggest hopes and dreams are. So that's what we're talking about today. There was literally no limitations on these wishes. So we're just gonna go back and forth and talk about what we want to see, our biggest wishes. My first biggest wish is, and these are not in any particular order, so like this isn't like my number one necessarily. But I do feel very strongly about this. I want a return to Nintendo handheld video game devices. I know that we have the Nintendo Switch.
That was gonna be my thing.
I know.
The argument is gonna be that, well, we gave you one.
I know. But there's just something missing for it for me. I think it's a little large to be practical.
Yeah.
And also like, the way that Garrett and I have it set up, I can't actually use my Switch unless it's connected to the internet. So that's a me issue. I understand. However, I can't like take it and play it on a plane. So,
Right, gotcha.
So I just miss the like compact like Game Boy. I don't know.
No, I get you. It is a certain level of that different convenience factor. Of
Yeah.
that it's like I have this thing that is just for when I like I'm like, you know, I'm just chilling in bed or when I'm traveling and blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Yeah, I get you.
I think that the Pokemon games were really good for handheld devices like that too.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I played chiefly on like every Game Boy device I ever owned was Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I just kind of miss it.
I think the trouble that kind of gets into with that, with going back to a handheld thing like that, specifically with the Game Boy. And granted, I was out of the handheld game for a long, long time, so I don't really know like how things advance in terms of like look and like what kind of games are on there and whatnot. I just feel like that there's a level of with things like, with the exception of certain things like with like Undertale and things like that. There's always going to be a forced technological step back when you get to handheld.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how much gamers would be willing to like go along with that, because you're always going to be limited. Like even the Switch itself has certain limitations to it because of, you know, like but just like because of that nature of it being like we want people to be able to like to travel with it and use it as a handheld device and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if the community at large would be willing to go along with that.
I understand this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just my nostalgia talking, but I miss handheld
For sure.
devices. Like
sure.
the SP. Oh, Game Boy Advance SP. What a device.
That was again part of the generation that I just
You just were not part of.
Wasn't a part of it.
The SP was just such a choice console, really.
So was it like Pokemon in particular you think is what you want back on that kind of like service, or?
Yeah, Pokemon and just other like cheesy kind of top-down or simple games, you know? This is probably my nostalgia talking, thinking about it. Do you know why I have to be connected to the internet?
No, you have not explained this to me.
Okay, so here's a tip for all of you out there. Nintendo, if you're listening, scroll past this. So Garrett and I don't like to pay for 2 copies of the same game.
I will say no. Hey, Nintendo, come back. This is, I know it's what I'm talking about, and this is some bullshit. This is some dumb shit. This is everyone else is not doing it this way, and it's stupid that you're doing it this way. Please continue.
Okay, so if I purchase a game on my home Switch, and I'm logged into the other Switch, or like my profile's on there, then I can download and play that game on that Switch.
Yes.
But if I'm playing on my home Switch, then another profile on the other Switch can't be playing that game.
Yeah.
So, because it's like I'm using the copy, right?
Yeah.
However, you can always play a game that you have purchased on someone else's Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So we set up each other's Switches as our home Switch, and then we play on each other's. That way, we can be playing the same game at the same time.
I've done the same thing with my Xbox with
Yeah.
a friend. They have mine set up as their home, and I did the same thing with theirs, and now we can just share games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's way fucking better that way. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Absolutely. And like on one hand, I kind of get it because like even back in days of yore, if you had one cartridge, you couldn't play it on two devices at the same time.
right.
So I get it.
But like this isn't that to me that is one of the benefits and selling points of digital. That should be one of like the reasons like not to buy physical copies anymore. Is that it's just like, well, you could just fucking if I bought it, let me play it.
Yeah. But the bean counters are like, no, everyone must buy a copy.
Stupid.
Yeah,
Dumb, stupid.
well,
I hate it.
Anyways, we went on a tangent there.
Yeah,
What's your first wish?
Give me Wolf Among Us 2. I know it's coming. I know it's coming, and I mean this in the kindest, nicest way. Please take your time. Obviously, we're all about
Please take your time.
Obviously, one of our biggest pushes is letting developers and people take their time.
Absolutely.
But counterpoint. I want it. Gimme.
I want it. Gimme.
I want it so bad. I'm just like if this is because there was the whole thing that I think we talked about it ages ago about like how Telltale had to like kind of it was I don't know if they just like what it was specifically about like it was like a bankruptcy thing they had to go into,
yeah,
and the company got like dissolved for a little while, but then it got bought out by somebody else,
right?
And they're working on Wolf Among Us 2 specifically. They also released another Tales from the Borderland game a while back as well, and so I'm just like more Telltale, please. I want because that is like it's obviously not the only one, but it's one of the few bastions of just like we are purely making a single player narrative driven experience for gamers, and I'm just like we need more of that, please. And I know this is also one that you're excited about,
absolutely,
as well.
Like I co-sign on that, absolutely.
My biggest thing is I'm just like because we are going back in with Big B again. We already know this. These are just some of the things that we know about it, but I'm just like. Are we picking up directly where we left off from the first Wolf Among Us with that choice to follow after I forget the character's name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Follow after or leave it alone where it's at, like because there were still unanswered questions from the end of the first Wolf Among Us. So I'm like, what are we going to be doing? I want to know, and I want it. Give me it, please.
Yes, gimme.
Alternate title, gimme.
I am excited to see what they're gonna do. If they're gonna do like the Mass Effect thing with Wolf Among Us 2 and like make your decisions matter from the first game to the second game.
Yes.
Or if it's gonna be like some decisions get canonized.
Yeah.
You know? I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, because to me it's like because I know with other titles that Telltale has done that have had sequels. Like I know from playing the Walking Dead Telltale game series is that all the decisions that you made in one would affect what happened in the next ones. But they weren't coming out like back to back, but they were coming out in a pretty regularly for a while. It's just been so long between these two games. I'm wondering if that's going to matter or impact if they're able to like have your decisions carry over. Because if so, I need to play the first one again.
Right. Yeah. Or they might do that thing like Mass Effect 2 did where it's like, here's the like comic book version of like the major points and like here you plug in your decisions or whatever. Or even something like online that you like fill out and then you're ready to jump in. You know what I mean?
I think that would be a really smart way to go about it. I think that'd be a good idea for it. So that's mine. That's my first one.
I just looked it up. Apparently, it's supposed to come out this year, but we're running out of this year.
We are getting close to running out of this year, guys.
Yeah, it was supposed to be last year, but then they delayed it so that they could be on Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
like good move.
Oh yeah, and again, you just like the gimme it now is a joke. Obviously, I want them to take their time and like make sure that it's like as good as a product as they want it to be, because then I'm just gonna enjoy it more. Yeah. And we're all about letting artists and creatives in general just take the time that they need in order to get it done, and especially with the way things have been in the gaming industry forever, but especially recently of just like hearing about all this stuff about like time crunches and like all these even like AAA title companies are experiencing massive layoffs again right now. It sucks, and the conversations going on about fucking AI at the moment too is still just Anyway, we're the positive podcast.
My next wish is Nintendo. If you weren't listening before, come listen now. Listen to the sound of my voice. Nintendo, give me a Wind Waker HD port to the Switch. And also, while you're at it, give me Gauntlet Dark Legacy. God damn it. I want it so bad.
The Wind Waker just HD port to me, I am so shocked it hasn't happened yet. It doesn't make sense to me.
It feels like, to some degree, they were like, we just did the HD port for the Wii U. We're not gonna do it again for the Switch. Like, that's
why not?
Like,
do it again.
I know.
Just do it again.
I will pay you real American dollar bucks for it, please. Goddamn.
Yeah. As somebody who has now bought The Last of Us 3 times.
How many times have you bought Mass Effect?
We don't need to talk about it. Yeah. We don't need to go into that. well, let's see. All 3 of the physical copies I had. Then I bought them digitally. Then I had to buy them again when something happened to my account. And then I bought the Legendary Edition. So at least 4 that I could think of off the top of my head.
Man. Yeah.
Point being, people will buy it if you put it out there again, man. It's not... And even for me, too, because, like, Wind Waker is one that I've watched, like, some gameplay through, and it's the one for me that I'm like, this would probably be the Zelda that I know that I would enjoy the most. And it's one that I really want to play.
I think you would enjoy it. I think Garrett would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it. Like...
It just looks delightful.
How many copies do I have to buy for you to greenlight this, Nintendo?
We'll just buy like 100 copies. We'll commit to 100 copies right now.
Exactly. And I'll distribute them. I'll make it happen. Whatever.
This idea that we're negotiating with Nintendo. I know. So the idea of you just like had with your trunk, just like a bunch of copies.
Yeah.
Hey man, you want Wind Waker?
Yeah. You want to buy a game? But yeah, and then also just Gauntlet Dark Legacy, because we had it for the GameCube, and then we haven't had a Gauntlet game since. And I want the Gauntlet Dark Legacy port, which would be easy, or I want a new Gauntlet game. Like, let's make it happen.
I feel like we talk about it every time, at least every other like episode that we record, you bring up Gauntlet in some capacity, and I must have like some Men in Black memory wipe that happens, because every time I'm like, oh yeah, Brendan's a Gauntlet fan.
Yeah.
I feel like I somehow forget about it every single time.
It's so good. It's like one of the best couch co-op, like hack and slash type games. God, it's so good. I just have such fond memories of playing it with my family.
Can I add on to yours with that?
Yeah.
Just a return to couch co-op games, please.
Oh!
Just more couch co-op. Just more stuff just to play next to my friend in real life, please.
Oh my god, yes.
I get there's more money in making it all online. I get it. But, like, I miss sitting on a couch and playing games with my friends, please. I miss that.
Give us the option.
Just the option.
Give us the option.
Baldur's Gate 3 had it.
Baldur's Gate 3 had it.
And they just released a new patch that made it better, apparently.
That's why they're Game of the Year.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They did win Game of the Year?
I think, yes.
Cut that out if it's not true.
No. It was, because I remember watching a bunch of people, a lot of
oh, that's right. A lot of people were upset about it.
Losing their mind because they were like, Spider-Man 2!
Right. Okay. All right, back to you. What's your second wish?
I mean, it's kind of going off of what I talked about a little bit in my first wish, but I just really, really think more focus on just like single-player narrative games really needs to make a comeback here. Yeah. There are definitely some out there that are still doing well. Like, obviously, a lot of the Nintendo titles.
Right.
A lot of that stuff is doing really well. Yeah. But like with what I talked about earlier with like Call of Duty, like I get the biggest thing with COD for ages has been the multiplayer online. And people love, and I'm not knocking anybody who plays anything just with a multiplayer. If that's how you enjoy your game, fucking more love to you. Have at it. But it's like, they didn't start off as multiplayer games. I always loved the campaign portions of them. I thought they were really interesting and fun. And just, it's a weird thing for me now when a game comes out and it's just like, hey, there's actually no multiplayer to this. We didn't have to shoehorn in a multiplayer option. We just wanted to give you a narrative, fun experience. Or even with things like, to use Wolf Among Us or like the Telltale games in general, one of the things that was always interesting and fun was, and it was the lightest thing to like bring it to the online community, was being like, hey, here's how many people made the same choices as you did, and here's how many people made the opposite choices as you did. Right. It just, I don't know. There's such a rich environment for narrative storytelling in video games in particular that I feel like that we're getting another like pull away from that, and people are, and with some things that have been happening. I also, part of it too is just like, and I'm not entirely just blaming the community, but because there is such a thing now where it's like all of the algorithms online kind of push more towards negative focused things, and people talk and being hypercritical on certain titles and whatnot. I feel like that we're getting into a place, kind of in general with any creative media, where it's like, if that's what everybody is seeing mostly is all the negative feedback on what's going on, then companies are going to go like, well, nobody likes it, therefore we have to like adjust and move the other way. So it's like, if everyone's talking about how bad Jedi Survivor was, or how bad or how bad Star Wars Outlaws is, which I know I've seen some of the stuff, it is kind of janky, but it's like, if that's what everyone's hyper focusing on, then that means that we're going to see less and less of it, because they're going to go, well, then it's just not fucking worth it anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like, we've already, history always repeats itself. I've watched similar things happen before in the world of gaming, where everything was getting pushed into multiplayer, and then just like, one of my buddies and I were talking about it last night, of just like, there have been so many single player focused games with great story that just nobody wouldn't fucking play.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. So I just, for someone like me, I'm here for the story, I'm here for the characters, I'm here for the narrative, I'm here for the writing, because it's there's just been some incredible writing in video games.
There's also something to be said for it being like, obviously, take this with a grain of salt. Making a video game is a difficult task.
100%.
Very difficult.
Yes.
However, I would think that creating something like an Overwatch or a Fortnite is considerably easier compared to like a narrative-driven story game where you have to write a whole lot of script. Just from like the writing aspect.
From the writing standpoint, I would agree with that. Yes.
Because you can. I feel like a company could churn out a battle royale type game much easier than something with like a lot to it.
Yeah.
And so therefore, since there's such a like interest in those types of games anyway, it's just easier to be like, well, this is what the people want, so
Yeah, and especially with like the high success of things like Fortnite, which I think to me really falls in that category.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, like I'm sure it's there, but like, what's the lore of Fortnite? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially now that it's just like they can apparently just like buy an IP and just throw
whatever you want. It's in Fortnite.
It's in Fortnite. It's now also a fucking like Rock Band sim as well.
No, what?
Oh yeah, you can throw on like a full concert. In Fortnite.
While you're not trying to die?
I guess. I don't know.
What is happening?
I don't play Fortnite, so I don't know how it works. I just know I've seen the videos of people like getting on stage and starting a band, basically.
That's actually wild.
It's insane. And I think that's also part of the problem too, is that you have these games that can argue like, well, we can do all this stuff too, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't do it as well as these other ones though, so it's like,
yeah. So Fortnite just trying to become the metaverse.
Apparently, yeah, just trying to eat everything up. But yeah, so just more single player stuff, please. They're still, and for those of you that are still doing it, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the metaverse, my next wish is for more VR accessibility, and I'm sure it's gonna get there.
Yes.
It's still like relatively new, but on like one hand, like, I want it to be a little bit cheaper and like more widely available.
Yeah.
But then also I would like to see a push for like accessibility for folks that like are not like, how to put this? Like if somebody is like missing a limb or a hand or fingers or something like that, like, or has like some sort of impairment, like I would like to see more accessibility for those folks. You know, as we've seen a push for like, colorblind accessibility in video games, or, like epilepsy, accessibility for things in video games. I would like to see that come around and start hitting the VR too.
100%.
So just more widely available. Yeah. I would like it to be cheaper, a whole lot cheaper. And then I would love to get everybody up in the VR.
Yeah. Well, especially like, I'm glad you mentioned the accessibility part of it too as well, because to me, that was one of the first things I thought of when VR really became like a much bigger thing than just like, a couple of your buddies who like who like had the first like Oculus way back in the day and whatnot. You know what I mean? where I was like, oh, this is, in theory, this can do wonders for accessibility because it's just a thing you put on.
Right.
And then it's like adjustable controls and whatnot and just do
Mhm.
what you need to do there. So it was just like, yeah, so like a bigger put. We could also go and tie this into one of mine as well because I have one later on down the line too, where I'm just like, just accessibility in general.
Accessibility
is just like a good thing. Is just like a better thing as video games. Because the one critique I have about the Crash Bandicoot remake or the remaster that I have now, no subtitles.
Oh,
and not even an option for it.
Oh,
I know. I've looked into the option.
That's
There's
weird.
just it's not there. Which I'm just like. We've all agreed for a long time that the base level, this is something that is good to put into video games.
Yeah.
And just like, and even someone who is not like, who isn't deaf or anything like that, like, I put subtitles on.
I watch subtitles with everything.
Yeah, I pretty much put subtitles on for everything now, for the most part.
It's not only for people with hearing or auditory, problems. It's for anybody that needs it and wants it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. That part. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah.
Sometimes I can't just understand what people are saying without subtitles.
There's that part too. Yeah.
Oh, that could be my auditory processing. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And it's gotten better, but for me, it was always an issue where it's just like, not that it was ever like terrible, but like the lip sync wasn't always great with video games.
Oh,
for like matching with the dialogue and whatnot. So it would always throw me off when I'm like, that should be an M that they're saying, but they're saying something with an N. So if I had the subtitles there, it just makes it. But also like originally for like stuff that was coming over from Japan, and they were just like, just changing the actual like audio to English and whatnot. They wouldn't always like sync up the lips differently. So it would look weird for me there too. I'd always prefer to have the subtitles on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So that was my third wish, and was it also kind of your third wish?
It was my fourth one, but just like accessibility in general for video games.
Gotcha.
It's a lot of progress there, but we need a little. There's always room for more improvement and to kind of just
absolutely. Okay, well then I'm gonna go again since we kind of knocked out.
Please go for it. I love it.
All right. My next wish is a return to form for Zelda games. I feel like a boomer with this opinion, but.
Interesting.
I miss the classic linear storytelling of a Zelda game. You go here, you go to this dungeon, you get an item, you use the item to escape the dungeon and beat the guy, and then you can use it, and then you go to the next dungeon, you do it all over again until you are so stacked, and you go kill Ganon and all that. I miss it. I miss it. I miss it so bad. Not that Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom are like bad games, but I've been very public about my opinion about those games and how they're like great games, but not good Zelda games, in my opinion. That's such a boomer opinion. I understand, but I just miss it, and that's part of why I want Wind Waker port so bad.
Yeah.
But just in general, I would just like to see another classic Zelda title. I don't know if we'll ever get it again.
And I think that's a fair request though, because I do think that there does come a point where it's like the whole open world aspect is always really cool and really fun. But there are people who do, myself included, who do still enjoy just like kind of like being put on a narrative path.
Yeah. And
sort of being somewhat left to your own like devices and like to me like a BioShock is like a prime example of something like this to me. Where it's like you're on a path, there's set direction on where to go, but once you get to like certain areas of the game, then it's kind of like free range on how you want to go about completing your task.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, sectionalizing an open world aspect to it is to me the prime way of kind of how to like to run a narrative.
And that's fine with me. If it's like you get to a certain area and then it's like you could go here or here or here or here, and the order within that doesn't kind of matter.
Yeah.
And then like there's like a point at the end, obviously, after you do all of the middle stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. But like there are people that are like dropping in on Ganon with 3 hearts, having done absolutely nothing, which is cool for Breath of the Wild and stuff, but like, come on.
I do think it's cool that it's like a game was like, you have that option if you want.
Yeah.
It's like, you can just run up to this dude with 3 hearts and see what happens. But I didn't know what you mean though, because like there is a level to it where it's weird to think that like opening up the world kind of it feels like it's a shift away from like the hero's journey in a sense that you kind of want to feel, if that makes any kind of sense. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, okay, to just to play devil's advocate,
sure, please,
for the sake of argument, when like Ocarina of Time came out,
Yeah.
people heralded it as like an open world game.
Yeah.
So like our idea of open world has like shifted dramatically.
It's true. It's very, very true.
You know, but like in Ocarina of Time, once you get to Hyrule Field, you can go anywhere. You can go to the castle, you can go check out the Zora, you can go to the lake, like wherever. You can go. You can't do everything, obviously, because it's like you're on a path and you need to go get items before you can get into this area.
Yes.
But for the most part, you can go anywhere and do anything. And you can do things in like a kind of weird order if you really wanted to. And similar with like Wind Waker, once you get the boat, you can sail the ocean.
Right.
You can go anywhere you want and do lots of different things. So to say like, well, it's open world, I think is a little bit, you know, it's changed, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would agree with that.
It's what it is it's like lifted the restrictions of like, no, you can't get in here until you get that item from that place, and then get that item from that place, and then build the Triforce again, and then, you know, like all of those steps to get to the last boss, basically. You know, I don't know.
I just mean, I think in that sense, like what I was saying is that it feels like when you kind of like what you were saying of just like you could run up to Ganondorf for 3 hearts and just like see what happens in the fight. I feel like that there is a narrative pullback from that feeling of like that classic hero's journey of that it's it's like, hey, it kind of feels like it's a shift that it's kind of like, hey, it's going to be a lot easier if you go on these quests. But you can just go and fight them. Whereas like before there was a narrative feel of like, we must go and get these 9 items before we can even like think about going and fighting the big baddie at the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's and I kind of agree that there's like a narrative drawback there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Of that feeling of like, well, I'm the hero, I must go and do XYZ.
Right.
Before I can you know, go and handle this other aspect to it.
Yeah. We got to go save the sages so that they can open the way to Ganon's castle so that we can defeat him with the power of friendship.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean.
So yeah, I would just like to see a return to form for,
I get you.
For Zelda games.
I could track that. That makes sense.
Back to you.
My next one, and this is one that is sort of, you know, wish fulfilled in a certain sense because I already know it's happening, but I'm just excited and I want more Resident Evil games. Just more, please. I really love this system. I've talked about it before. The system they have right now where it's like they release a remake of a classic title and then like a year or so afterwards, a brand new title that's continuing the narrative comes out. And it's just it's been making me so happy. I still need to get the Resident Evil 4 remake. Because that is still considered the best Resident Evil game for the most part. The fandom is pretty much agreed that like 4 was like the best one in the game series. It's also the one that now the one that like even when it originally came out is now the gameplay style that all of the remakes are based on. The third person over the shoulder following around because it was originally the tank controls for like all the old titles. Oof. But now with the 2 and 3 remakes, they all follow that code of just like, no, it's the third person over the shoulder following somebody along or whatnot. And I'm really interested because now we're getting into the remake titles and they've announced that they are doing 5 at least. They are doing Resident Evil 5, which I'm interested in because that is not considered a great game by most of the fandom. It starts really good and it has cool ideas because it was I don't think it was the only one at the time, but an earlier example that I could think of that was like a survival horror game that had a co-op component to it. Of like, and it was a couch. If you don't make a fucking couch co-op, I'm gonna lose my shit. I swear to God, if you are gonna keep the co-op aspect to it, and you don't make a couch co-op, we're gonna have problems. We're gonna have problems, Capcom. I swear to God, I'm coming for you. But then also because, like I've talked about before, it is that I feel like that what they do is they implement new tech and new ideas in the remake that then gets implemented into the newer title, i.e. Resident Evil 2, Mr. X is just always on your ass, always following you wherever, and he can pop up literally anywhere, anytime. That they have an AI that's got it constantly moving and whatnot. And then they had that same thing with Resident Evil 8 with Lady Demetrescu who could just follow you throughout the castle wherever you were at. So just I want to see what they implement in 5. That's like, hey, let's test this out and see how it goes, and then how that's going to go into the next title. Because it just feels that if we're going to be doing remakes and stuff, let's use it to like test out new tech and see how we could further develop newer titles.
That makes a lot of sense. It seems like everybody is in really good communication about the development of each of the titles.
Yes.
It seems, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. That's gone.
Oh yeah, they're also just. I also love Resident Evil because they're just insane.
Yeah.
They're just the story. The plots
Yeah,
are so
you've recapped.
unnecessarily
Yeah,
convoluted
Yeah.
to get to the end of just being like, and it turns out Umbrella's still evil, and yeah.
I know it's convoluted because you explained it all to me, and I don't remember a bit of it.
Let's put a cap on that. I attempted to explain.
I'm so sorry.
I attempted to explain it. I don't know if it worked out as well as it did, but yeah. I did my best.
I know the formula is like, shit's going down. It's Umbrella's fault. There's a virus. Now it's a zombie outbreak. We got to blow up the whole thing and run away to fight another day. That's the formula, basically, right?
There's been a meme going around online right now with TikTok.
Yeah.
Where it's just like people will do like, because you could find like, you can find like these like research notes from like scientists in the world of Resident Evil and whatnot. And people keep putting up these like fake ones out there. It's just like, I crossbred a silverback gorilla with a great white shark. Hope nothing goes wrong. Day 2. Oops, it got out. Like, that's all Resident Evil is people mashing things together that shouldn't be that way, and then it got out. But yeah, so more Resident Evil. Excited to see what they keep doing. Excited to see what they do with 5, and then for Resident Evil 9. I'm very, very excited about it.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
My 5th and final wish is for Banjo 3E. I don't feel like that needs any more explanation. Back to you.
What is that?
Okay,
because I saw Banjo. I was like,
you know that word.
I know that word. What are these other? And I know I know 90% of that other word. I know 90% of it. I know 3.
Yeah.
What are those other 2 letters doing?
Are you familiar with Banjo Kazooie?
Yes.
Okay. The sequel. Are you familiar with Banjo Tooie? You can see where I'm going.
I get it. I get it now. Yeah. I understand.
Banjo 3.
Okay.
It was teased at the end of Banjo Tooie.
Yeah.
I don't think it was in earnest. Like, it wasn't an earnest, like, tease.
Right.
But a character does basically say, like, wait till I come back for you in Banjo 3E. And, like, it was probably just, at the time, tongue-in-cheek. They probably knew that they weren't going to be making a third Banjo Kazooie game. But I want it. Make it, Nintendo.
Did the Banjo games also get like some sort of like either like an HD port or like a remaster at some point, or am I making that up?
Yeah, there was a Rare collection, Rareware.
That's what it was. Thank you.
The company released a collection for Xbox.
Yeah.
And it was all of the Rare titles. So like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I think Donkey Kong 64 was also in that. And it was just a collection of all the Rare games back on the Xbox. So, like, yeah, there's precedent for it.
Got it.
Or there's precedent for, like, a port or a re-release, but not necessarily Banjo 3E. They did Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, which is, like, a weird, total divergence.
I did actually try playing that one, and as someone who was, like, I played... I don't remember which one. I played one of the Banjo games a little bit back in the day when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I played Nuts and Bolts, I was like, this feels off. Yeah. And I don't understand why they thought that people would want this more than just another. Just make another Banjo Kazooie game. Like, why are you messing around with this?
Yeah. So yeah, there was a spiritual successor in a game called Yooka-Laylee.
Yes.
Which was very fun, a total homage, a love letter, really.
I heard good things about that one.
To the collectathon games. Mm-hmm. I love a collectathon. It's cheesy, it's hokey, it's how I learned, like, breaking the fourth wall and, like, tongue-in-cheek jokes.
Oh,
my humor, I think, is very inspired
by
these games. I love Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie so much, and I would love to see a good, true sequel to the second one.
I feel like there's like a trifecta of like millennial humor, and it is like if you played the Banjo-Kazooie games, if you watched or played Pokemon, because that also had some like goofy tongue-in-cheek shit, and then Invader Zim.
Oh, I was gonna say the Muppets.
You know what? More correct.
Muppet Treasure Island specifically.
Yes, far more correct. I'd say Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas
Carol. Christmas Carol.
Because those two were like...
Yeah.
Small side tangent. I saw a dude who like said something absolutely genius when he was talking about Disney, where he was like, stop giving us live action remakes. You have the Muppets IP. Just give us Muppet remakes of old Disney classics.
Absolutely.
That would be way... And I'm like, hard agree. Yes, do that instead.
Absolutely.
Do all that instead. Screw these live action bullshit. Just do that instead. But
yeah.
It's like... It's a small... Sorry, tangent. But I agree with you, though, because I feel like it's a beloved... Banjo is a beloved franchise.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of nostalgia factor to it.
Mm-hmm.
If they announced if they just announced that they were doing an actual, like, honest to God, third one...
I would be frothing at the mouth.
People would lose their fucking shits.
Yeah.
The only thing I think, though, now is that because of the way that things are, and with how much of, like, a meta, like, kind of, like, narrative that the game, and, like, a humor that it has to it, people would just be like, oh, so everyone's trying to be Deadpool now? Like, I think that would be the only unfortunate downside. Is the people who don't understand just kind of like, these motherfuckers walked so Deadpool could run.
Right.
Like,
for real.
I think that would be the only pushback that would happen. But otherwise, yeah, I would agree to that.
Yeah. All right, your fifth and final wish. What you got?
My final one is just in general, and this can apply to any level of.
I feel like I'm gonna very much adopt this wish as well.
Yeah, and like art in general and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it also ties back into a little bit of what I talked about before, of just like the loud. Unfortunately, the loudest voices right now are the more negative ones, and it's the ones that have. There are no wrong opinions unless those opinions are racist and homophobic and transphobic. Is that it's just like we still need to keep pushing for more inclusivity in games and in the community at large, and that ties into with accessibility, and that ties into with like gender spectrum, with sexuality spectrum, with like the idea of like race and how not every protagonist just needs to be a grumbly ass white guy. Like it can be, there's a whole. In the Star Wars games, we have a whole spectrum of like different aliens and races, but for some reason, if you put a trans character in something, people lose their fucking minds, and I just don't understand how you get so mad of just like somebody existing. Like I don't get it, and to me, this will do two things as we continue to push more for. One, it expands your world. It expands your own personal world and your view of things. It makes you a more well-rounded person. It makes you a better person. It creates more opportunity narratively for your games to expand, to explore new like ideas and options and things like that. Also, if you're gonna be one of those people who doesn't want to change and accept things, you can get the fuck out. As far as I'm concerned, we don't need you. Like, It's the only person that I'd say that we're against at 3VO is people like that who want to push against shit like this.
None of that tolerance for everybody. No,
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely fucking not. But yeah, I'm just I'm not saying this is a way to be like just like get on it. Like that would be one very arrogant of me as a fucking cis white man to do that. Two, there have been so many different companies and so many different like games in general that have been making this push and have been more inclusive, and you love to see it. But I'm just, my concern is that like I talked about already, just like with how much negative pushback is being pushed online and how much it does kind of get put more on the surface than I think than some other voices out there, because negativity gets more engagement, unfortunately. Is that it's like I don't want companies like to get scared and be like, oh, we need to rein it in and like not do and not do this. It's like they're the loudest, the wrongest voices are loudest. There is so much love for what is happening right now already. So just keep doing it and keep pushing it more, please, because just like has somebody who has themselves, like I said, I am bisexual, but I'm still a cisgendered white dude. I come with a lot of privilege. I still live my life with certain blinders on that I need to keep getting
absolutely
in a certain way forcefully removed from me without, because like that, progress isn't always easy, unfortunately. It's not always going to be nice and clean. So just like, keep making me become a better person, please. It's kind of what I'm pushing for here a little bit too. I like growing. I like being educated. I like becoming better. And if you could do it with that, and if you could trick me into doing it, even better, because I don't even know what's happening. So if you just throw stuff into your narrative, it kind of makes you think a little bit. That's how you get people.
There you go. You trick them.
Yeah. Hey, listen. If it works, it works. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my last big one. Is that I just want more inclusivity, more of that stuff.
Absolutely, and of course, same.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really didn't think I'd get any pushback on that one from you. No. It would have been wild if you did.
All right, then, we are ready to get started with some Mass Effect trivia, which means you've made it to the bonus round. It's just a fun little thing that we like to do at the end of some of our episodes. It's usually fun for us, but this time it won't be for Jordan. So, All right, let's.
I'm gonna have fun. I just know I'm gonna lose.
But I'm gonna have more fun and win. No. All right, let's get started. What is our first question?
Okay. I think the way this is set up, I believe that it gets easy in the beginning and it gets harder.
Cool.
But all right, what is male shepherd's default name?
John?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah. I got so Matt.
My brain, here's what happened too. Here's why I paused too. Was my brain? I said, "Oh," because I knew it. And my brain went Dax. So I was like, "That's a real.
That's a real person." That's funny. All right. First points to you.
All right.
All right, number 2. The Asari were the first to discover what?
A ring ding ding. The Citadel.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Question number 3. I don't know how to pronounce this because I've never played the game. Who created the genophage?
A ring ding ding.
I think that was Brennan.
Yeah.
It was created by the Solarians and it was implemented by the Turians.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, Jennifer.
Yeah, Genophage. Yeah, you got it.
Woo! All right, number 4. What did the Turians call the first contact war?
Don't they call it the first contact?
Don't
they call it the first contact?
I thought. You know what? Ha! Trick question. They called it the first contact war.
That is not correct.
I thought that might be wrong, but fuck it. I didn't have anything else.
All right, do you guys want the multiple choice?
Yes.
All right, so how this will work is buzz in when you don't wait for me.
Don't wait for you to read them all. Okay.
Okay, I'm actually rules. Got it.
First is the mass relay war, human contact war, the relay.
Huh. What would be the human contact war?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
I'd like all of the options, please.
The mass relay war, human contact war, the relay 314 incident, and Armistice Day.
A ring ding ding. The third one?
Yep.
Okay. That's crazy. I've never heard that before.
I don't know if I've heard that. It's got to be like a
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 5. Oh, sorry. Who created the Geth?
A ring ding ding.
Mm-hmm.
The Quarians.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn it. This is a little bit.
You
I
know
know.
all of these though. I'm just fast.
This one I do know.
You know all
this
of
one I did know.
Yeah.
Didn't know the last one.
This doesn't prove anything. I didn't know the last one either.
Yeah.
All right. What is Samara's daughter, Morinth?
A ring ding ding. She is an Ardot Yakshi.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm just slow on putting the syllables together.
And sweeping. All right. What was the name of the Prothean VI on Ilos?
It was Vigil.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay, I
yeah,
got that
Vigil.
one.
Nice.
Oh.
I
I knew it. I
You
just
got it.
I got there. I got there.
That should be worth more points, I think.
No.
Garla Vaughn works for.
Shadow Broker.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was that little Volus you go talk to. Or you
No, I knew I could see him. I
Yeah.
knew exactly what it was. But
that one's a little tricky because you could skip the
You
whole.
can
option
skip
talk
the
to him
shot-
and then
yeah,
in the
yeah.
first game.
All right. Who was the Archangel?
A ring ding ding. Garrus Vicarian.
Damn it.
Who did the Hanar worship?
A ring ding ding. The Protheans.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah.
That is correct. My brain was trying to remember the Enkindlers because that's what they refer to it as. But it is the Pro. It is the Pro.
Oh, yeah.
It is. They are the Protheans though.
Yeah.
All right. What is EDI?
A ring ding ding. An AI doesn't want more than that. She is the what's her acronym? Oh no. She is the AI that runs the Normandy in Mass Effect 2 and then gets her own body in Mass Effect 3 and is walking around. I cannot think of her acronym.
I can't think of the
I did
acronym
want it.
either.
Oh, okay.
It's an AI aboard the Normandy
Okay.
SR2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I believe you got that.
Yeah.
What is her acronym? Oh, like I don't know. It doesn't matter. That wasn't the question.
Like electric.
Yeah,
something
electronic
interface?
something. Yeah, I don't know. Meh.
What planet do you recruit Thane Krios?
Yeah,
Oh.
Thane Krios, you got it.
What is that? Huh. I think this is wrong. Ilium?
That's correct.
Oh, it is right,
good
okay.
job. Yeah.
So it was like, it's either that one or that's the place you... Second to last mission in the first Mass Effect. I couldn't remember which one it was.
I could see it clear as day in my mind.
Yeah.
You know.
We'll see if you can just get this one without. Why does Jack hate Miranda?
Huh!
Yep.
Because she works for Cerberus, and Cerberus are the people that tortured her throughout her entire youth.
Yep.
That's the one.
That's it. This says, I don't know how great this is, but it says because she's a Cerberus cheerleader bitch.
Oh, you know what?
That is the exact quote.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, character accurate. Yes, that is how Jack would put it.
Yeah.
That is exactly how Jack would put it.
Great.
literally calls her the cheerleader. Yeah.
Yeah.
What mercenary group did Zaid, Masani, and
Huh?
Yep.
The Blue Suns.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that
I was
one
like,
I got.
it's-
That one
I was
got.
like one of three. I was like,
Yeah.
fucking. It was a shot in the dark for me. I've never recruited Zahid.
Oh, really?
Never did it.
How do you get onto Omega? Never mind.
All right, we have two more.
Okay.
What? Can we have a point check in?
Oh yeah. Who do you think's winning?
I think it's Brendan.
I don't know. I think we're pretty close.
It's 15 to 12, Brendan.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty close.
I'm doing
It's
better than I
pretty
thought I was
close,
going to do.
yeah,
I'm doing better than I
it's
thought I was
pretty
going to do. I'm
close.
happy with
There
that.
is one that I skipped, so we'll do all of them.
Okay, let's
But
go.
one of them I think I have to read out all the. All right, here we go. What was the name of the specter that Saren killed on Eden Prime?
Nihilus.
Yep.
Oh, good job, Jordy.
Got him.
Good
Not
job.
have the last name.
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh.
Kriek.
Sure.
I only remember because there's the shot of Sarah when he turns around and goes, Nihilus. That's the reason why I'm able to remember it.
That's
All right.
good.
What did the Batarians do in protest of humans starting colonies in the Batarian space and the council not doing anything about it?
Ring ding ding.
Mhm.
They created a like a plague and like released it on them.
No.
Oh, I'm thinking of
something
else.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is simplifying a lot, but if I remember, at least one of the things I know they did was that they put rockets on an asteroid and tried to crash it into a human colony.
Oh, that one. That side quest.
No, so that's not the answer that they
Oh.
have.
I mean, that did happen.
But those are the other answers that they put. So let's see if it.
Oh, great.
What
Okay.
did the Batarians do in protest of the humans starting colonies in Batarian space and the council not doing anything about it? A. Bombed Earth. B. Attacked human colonies. C. Closed their embassy on the Citadel.
A ring ding ding. They like attacked human colonies.
No.
It's over to you.
Would it? Oh, would it be C? They closed their embassy?
Yeah.
Is it that
Okay.
one? Oh.
I was trying to remember if they did, because there are some races that just never have had an established embassy on the Citadel, I believe. So I was trying to remember if they were one of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes it tied.
No, Jordan's up by 1.
I can do this!
But didn't he get only 1 point for going to multiple choice?
Oh,
Hey.
You're right. You guys are tied. Thanks for keeping me honest.
Man. Okay.
Not that it matters, because whoever gets the last one wins.
That's true.
So-
Okay.
Sorry, I just have to find it.
Now that I have a shot, I care a lot.
The tension is
Alright,
palpable.
here we go. What was the first contact war?
A ring ding ding.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first contact between Turians and humans, and it was like the first like brush humans had with other alien species.
But like, why?
Like why?
What was the conflict?
Oh.
I remember specifically what sparked it off.
I mean, I feel like humans discovered a mass relay and then jumped, and then they were in Turian space, and the Turians were like, humans, and the humans were like, Turians, and then that's like the rest is history. Is that it?
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember right, that's
Like-
generally
like-
pretty much the overall, yeah.
It's when the Turians attacked the humans for trying to activate an old mass relay.
Oh, yeah, okay. It was specifically them trying to be like, what's that button do? And the Turians going, no!
So Brendan's our winner.
Hey!
But like, not by as much as.
Not by a lot.
I'm very
That
happy.
was
I'm
close.
very happily surprised with myself. I did better than I thought I
So
was
in a couple
gonna
years,
do.
we need to do this again.
There we go.
And yeah.
Absolutely.
At a certain point, though, my like carefree, just like I did better than I thought attitude. If we keep doing it, will fade away, and I'll be like, I gotta get one.
That's so funny. All right, folks. Well, that was our bonus round. We hope that you enjoyed our rehashing of Mass Effect trivia. Thanks for listening so far. This is the end of our episode. We want to know, what is your greatest wish in gaming? Do you share our opinions? Would you like to see Banjo 3E? Would you like to see more Resident Evil? Or something that we didn't mention? We want to know. Let us know in the comments.
Also, if you have any ideas for future discussions for the show, please send us an email at 3VOpodcastteam@gmail.com. Give us your ideas. You can also find us pretty much everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, because I refuse, Instagram, TikTok, all at 3VO Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe to our show. It really makes a difference, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.